famous residence in the world, Pennsylvania Avenue, the home of Barack Obama, and once housed Abraham Lincoln, whose memorial head coach Kalani Sitake took his Cougars to visit yesterday in advance of a big game over from Provo. The Cougars will face West Virginia out of the Big 12. From just outside our nation's capital, it's the home of the NFL's Washington Redskins, FedEx Field, Landover, Maryland. West Virginia still unbeaten, ready to tangle with 1-2 BYU over from Utah. Thanks for joining us once again. Jason Benetti alongside Kelly Stauffer. Paul Carcaterra is down on the sideline. The Big 12's unbeatens are dropping like flies. There are only 2 remaining. West Virginia is one of them.
Is the demise of the Big 12 a little bit premature? West Virginia has a tremendous opportunity. BYU's a good football team. They win this one, they have a lot of good things in store for them going forward.
Questions from BYU all arise right now from the quarterback position. Taysom Hill, Tanner Mangum. Taysom Hill's had a fantastic career. He was thrust onto the national scene because of that game against Texas a couple of years ago. 259 yards, 3 touchdowns. But the injuries have really mounted. A knee a couple years ago, a leg in 2014, a foot in 2015. Tanner Mangum then comes in for the injured Taysom Hill and sets the world on fire. You can't forget about a guy who had 2 Hail Marys in one season, one against Nebraska, the other against Boise State. So really, as you talk about what BYU is doing quarterback-wise, how does head coach Kalani Sitake make the choice?
I really think it's just simple. Taysom Hill is not the guy that he used to be at the quarterback position, but he is the guy that BYU needs right now. A very well-respected leader in the clubhouse. That's very important for a new staff, and his game experience allows him to retain this new system, and so that's why Taysom Hill is on the field currently.
The players have to handle it, though, together, and that's the question we asked Paul Carcaterra downstairs. How are they doing that?
Well, when you're Kalani Sitake, the way that you look at it is when you have one good quarterback backing up another good quarterback, you're going to have an issue. But don't tell backup quarterback Tanner Mangum there's an issue. The quarterback went to Twitter this week and he posted the following. "This is a team game," he said. "I'm 100% behind this team. No room for negativity." That's Mangum on the right and Hill on the left. Sitake told us last night he doesn't want his quarterback looking over his shoulder. The leash on Taysom Hill probably isn't as short as fans really think it is.
Well, Kalani Sitake said, look, I don't want it to turn into a circus where we keep making the substitution. West Virginia, on the other hand, no subbing quarterbacks.
Skyler Howard, what a tremendous guy. He's an undersized playmaker that has a massive chip on his shoulder, and he's off to a great start already. You can see what he's doing per game this season. He ended the season absolutely on fire. He started the season the same way. His playmaking ability is merging nicely with the short to intermediate pass game. This guy is a playmaker and a very good quarterback.
BYU will defer. The West Virginia Mountaineers will have it first. As an offense that has helped the Mountaineers go to 2-0 so far. Wins over Missouri and against Youngstown State. Shelton Gibson from just outside his end zone, and he is swarmed under at the 11-yard line. Kick coverage from BYU starts strong. Sawyer Powell on the hit, and out comes Skyler Howard, the quarterback whose completion percentage is significantly up this year through 2 games.
And I think what we're seeing, Jason, is a much better understanding of the short to intermediate pass game. And so you can see in those short to intermediate passes, he's up about 15%.
He had an amazing bowl game last year, 532 yards through the air, 5 touchdowns. He has a 5-touchdown game already this year as West Virginia is off a bye week. And Russell Shell is the tailback, the Pitt transfer. Howard to throw on first down. Has a completion to Javon Durant, and he's going nowhere. Fred Warner with the stick, 2nd down coming up.
Well, West Virginia wants to play really fast today, and BYU defensively is very sound. They're very aggressive, but they're going to force this West Virginia offense to get through some clutter early.
West Virginia, a team that's been more pass heavy than run heavy in terms of play decision, goes with Shell on 2nd down, and this is a very stout BYU defense. 31st in scoring defense in the country.
And that's exactly why West Virginia A wants to go fast, but they want to accentuate their speed out in space.
Third down, West Virginia, 40% on the year. This is a deep ball down the sideline. And it's Shelton Gibson bringing it in right around midfield. One of the big play threats in college football last year goes for 35.
The vertical threat is Gibson, and Shorts works inside, but this time it was two twin vertical routes outside. Durant had the other one.
Team speed is a major factor for West Virginia in this game, as Karan White, the brother of Bears wide receiver Kevin White, has a catch of 8, and there's the pace for Dana Holgorsen in West Virginia.
Yeah, they're already going fast, and the matchup is going to be, how does BYU hold up in the back end?
It's a secondary that's been rather opportunistic this year when they can get their hands on the ball, but Jovan Durant has his second grab to move the sticks as the linebacker Fred Warner chopped him down. First down, West Virginia.
And Jason, you said it, BYU is not who they want to be in the secondary yet. They want to be an aggressive man-to-man team on the back end, and they just simply don't have that personnel at this point in time.
A lot of freshmen at the cornerback spot for BYU, though the Cougars have intercepted 6 passes this year. That's tied for 6th in the country. As West Virginia to the air again, Devontae Mathis, the 5th wide receiver, crashes down to the 11-yard line. Oh, a machine-like drive for West Virginia on the opening possession. First and goal once again, opening play of this game. On the ground, Shell picking his way. Touchdown! The Pitt transfer, Russell Shell, is in for the opening score.
Shell is the physical runner in that run game for West Virginia, but he's also the experienced patient runner, and that was a patient run. He just presses the line of scrimmage, he lets the play develop. There's the softness, and he gets in the end zone. That was good stuff by Shell.
Mike Molina for the extra point. And it is good. We told you Skyler Howard's completion percentage is way up this year. It can't go up from here, though. He's perfect on the drive. 4th down to move the sticks, and then Russell Shell takes it in. Second score of the year for Shell. West Virginia scores first. Non-News fans can tailgate. If you've been to Morgantown, you know that. They've brought it here to FedEx Field in Landover, Maryland. A lot to celebrate on that opening drive for Dana Holgorsen's crew, trying to get to 3-0. They converted a 4th and 5 from the 32-yard line. Skyler Howard goes 8 for 8 on the drive. And all things are sunny for the West Virginia Mountaineers. BYU touches it for the first time. Aleva Hifo, the freshman, is stonewalled at the 22-yard line, and Taysom Hill is the quarterback. He's 26 years old. They've called him the Thorterback because of his size. The touchdown and interception ratio isn't exactly where you'd like it to be, especially this year, 2 and 4.
Yeah, that's where he has to improve, obviously. The new system that he's playing in with Ty Detmer, a very good quarterback in his own right, has him in a system where he's going to be in the pocket a lot. He's going to have to read and diagnose and throw accurately, and he's going to have to improve on those numbers right there.
68 for 116 for the year for Taysom Hill, and he hands it off to Jamal Williams on his first carry. Boy, did he rev the engine and stick his nose out to the 32, very close to the first down marker. He gets 10 and does get a first down.
Well, Ty Detmer told us that they got away from the running game too quickly a week ago. They're going to stick with it today, and that's a good example of it. Jamal Williams is an absolute horse running the football. 6'2", 220. He's a pounder, and that's who BYU wants to be offensively, a physical downhill run team.
A senior out of Fontana, California, who took the year off last year for personal reasons and is back this season. Taysom Hill swings it out for Nick Kurtz, and not much there, just a couple of yards as Kaiser White decked him out of bounds. You're talking about BYU passing off the run game.
Yeah, I mean, if you're going to be a physical downhill run team, then you have to be a play-action pass team, and that means Taysom Hill a lot of times is going to be in the pocket. He's going to have to be precise, and he's going to have to be an anticipatory passer, and he hasn't showed that he can do that yet.
He's picking up a towel right now that's been left in the middle of the field. BYU 40% on third down this year. Hill under pressure, zings it over the middle for a first down. Aleva Hifo, the freshman, with his third career catch.
That's a good example, I think, of what West Virginia is going to demand of Taysom Hill today. Sometimes they're going to get after him. Sometimes they're just going to get in the rush lanes and not let him get loose with his feet. But ultimately, to move the chains against this defense, he's going to have to make throws like that.
Taysom Hill off of play action. Feet were moving. He still zips it in there and has the penalty yardage back to Colby Pearson. Antonio Crawford knocked him down, and BYU not terribly well equipped for first or anything in long.
No, and this drive kind of was a disaster. That last few plays, a false start, illegal formation, and then they had to burn a timeout. But that's a good way to overcome it right there. A good job of sorting out the route and the coverage by Taysom Hill.
Jamal Williams back in, and Williams has a couple. We check in with Cart.
Well, Kelly, you mentioned transforming the bodies of the BYU linemen. Kalani Sitake told us yesterday they sacrificed meeting time, practice time, anything they could do to get more time in the weight room. They squatted every single day in the summer, which is not normal these days. He wanted his linemen to put on weight, and they were successful doing so. Look at Austin Hoyt, for example. He's on the 2 deep as a right tackle, 295. Before the summer, 265.
First third and long today for BYU, which has converted on 3rd and 2 and 3rd and 4 so far. Just a couple of drives in, the first quarter nearly bled down. Hill with pressure coming over the middle. Mitchell Juergens diving. Touchdown.
There were so many good things on this drive offensively for BYU. Taysom Hill actually starts to the left side of the field and then comes back to the right, senses the pressure, keeps his feet intact, and then Mitchell Juergens, I believe, gets that all the way into the end zone.
Extra point for Rhett Allman is good, and BYU has its first touchdown of the season in the first quarter. 7-7 BYU West Virginia. The defense scores. The offense played very well.
Lost a couple of really, really tough ones to decent teams. Alabama may be the best team in the country, but Ole Miss is for real.
Returnable kick again for Shelton Gibson of West Virginia, and he has no help on the outside. All white jerseys as flags come flying in. Crawford, the speedster running back, finds a crease. Crawford off to the races and inside BYU territory.
Dana Holgorsen told us that they want number 25, Justin Crawford, to get more touches. He's a JUCO kid that's still trying to find his way into the system, but he brings the splashability to this offense.
Howard off play action. This is a dangerous ball, and it's incomplete. Looking for Karan White. Michael Davis, the defensive back, was closest to it.
And Davis has that senior experience on the back end. He's one of the only experienced guys back there, especially at the corner position. And he was matched up that time on White, who tried a kind of a stop-and-go double move. It was a deeper double move, but he didn't get Michael Davis, the wily vet, on the back end to bite.
That's the first incompletion today for Skyler Howard. He's 10 for 11 for 107 in the first quarter. Out of the backfield, Crawford was in motion, and Crawford finds his way out of bounds at the 36-yard line. It's 3rd and manageable for West Virginia.
And Jason, if you remember what Dana Holgorsen told us, he said Crawford's that guy where you don't have to block them all. And we've already seen that. He has some quickness to it.
JUCO All-American coming over to West Virginia. Howard, quick hit again to the outside for a first down. Javon Durant, the sophomore wide receiver, moves the chains.
Right now, West Virginia is trying to get BYU to tighten coverage so they can go over the top. BYU right now is staying in their shell coverage on the back end. 2 high safeties.
Moving down to a minute to go, first quarter. Down the middle, intercepted. BYU with yet another pick. It's Butch Paul all the way to the 40-yard line. The Cougars intercept their 7th of the year. A 20-yard return.
Don't come late across the middle, and that's what Skyler Howard did. He had Crawford on a swing out to the left side. He looked at him and then went late to Durant over the middle. You can't do that, and Pau made him pay. Pau is the middle linebacker, simply reading the eyes of the quarterback. You come late in there, and it's going to go to the other team a lot of times.
Butch Paul, who they moved Harvey Longy to defensive line for. Paul, the sophomore, was so good, they took one of their best defensive players and changed his position. Now, Taysom Hill back to the controls for BYU. Jamal Williams, the running back, has had a stellar quarter, and he caps it here. Williams to the 20-yard line, and inside the 10. Crawford danced out of bounds with him. First and goal, BYU.
An offensive line that was challenged this week as well in a zone scheme up front. You can see the offensive line getting to that second level, covering linebackers up, and then Williams doesn't need a lot of room. He's a pounder, but his speed is vastly underrated, and you could see it on that play.
You know where he got it from. His mother was a sprinter at UCLA. Jamal Williams sets up a first down and goal for BYU. He's over 100 yards already and will lose one there. Kaiser White clipped him, second and goal.
Kaiser White off the edge made an offensive lineman pay for a wrong move. He shot inside and just blew that play up before it could get started. But a great sign, if you're a BYU fan, is the fact that that run game is front and center thus far when BYU has had the football. That sets the table for everything they want to do.
And that'll do it for quarter number 1. First 3 games this year, 126 yards on the average on the ground for BYU. Already Williams over 100. West Virginia got on the board first, but BYU responded in kind. We're deadlocked at 7 just off our nation's capital. The Smithsonian Institution's fantastic to go through, and a new one opened just today. The Smithsonian, dedicated to African American history, the first ever museum dedicated to African American history, sponsored by our nation, opened today just outside of where we are. BYU driving against West Virginia to open quarter number 2. Taysom Hill on the roll, slams on the brakes and zips it wide. It's third and goal coming up for the Cougars.
Not a bad decision. Out of the run game, we've already seen Jamal Williams play an integral part of what BYU is doing today and wants to do the rest of the year. Play action off of that and boot Taysom Hill into really what is his strength, getting outside, but you have to make good decisions right here in the red zone.
BYU 7 red zone trips this year, 7 scores. 4 have been touchdowns, 3 have been field goals. We'll redo third down and goal. Taysom Hill, near side, batted around, incomplete. Pearson was jostling with Antonio Crawford, and it's kick time for BYU, we think.
Hill got away with one there. Crawford had tight coverage on Pearson and actually made a better play on the ball than Pearson did. Taysom Hill is very fortunate Antonio Crawford isn't running into the end zone about now.
So it's up to Rhett Almond, who's regained his spot as the starting kicker with an injury to the freshman Jake Oldroyd. Almond was the opening starter this year and mishit a couple. This one is good, and BYU has taken its first lead today, a long way from home in Provo. This one into the end zone. Gibson takes it out. And Shelton Gibson stonewalled short of the 15-yard line. And BYU with some wonderful coverage. Howard on first down, fading away, throws the quick screen. Crawford across the 30, and Crawford out of bounds just short of the 40-yard line. Cart.
Skyler Howard, you mentioned, Jason, 0 Division I offers, 0 Division II. Had to go to JUCO before he went to West Virginia. He told me this week when I spoke to him, West Virginia was a no-brainer. They're in the Big 12. He gets to play every team, especially those Texas ones that overlooked him and didn't even give him a sniff.
Nice.
Yeah,
he plays with a ginormous chip on his shoulder.
And he's a little guy. The people, he says, came up to him and said, look, you're too small. He hasn't been. Neither is Crawford. Into BYU territory and a first down. Nakua knocked him out of bounds. Can you imagine that? Somebody actually saying to you, you're too small to play the position.
In this game, yes. I can imagine that. They're very particular, but you have to prove them wrong as we see Crawford running the football once again.
Pitch out Howard, asking his receivers to do a lot after the catch, and they have. Jovan Durant this time, right near the 35. Francis Bernard, the linebacker, got the touch on him after a gain of 9, the 6th grab for Durant.
Well, Dana Holgorsen hopes that Jovan Durant is that 4th receiver emerging from the pack. They have 3 really good ones in Gibson, Shorts, and White, and if you get a 4th out there, it makes the spread much more efficient.
See if they take a shot here on 2nd and 1. Instead, it's the jet sweep to Keel Shorts, and he's got the first down. Move the sticks again. West Virginia's opening drive looked a lot like this one.
Yeah, very precision-like, but that's where we see the run game that Dana Holgorsen has settled into. It's the air raid pass game, but it's formationing and a lot of times 2 backs in the run game.
Russell Shell, the bruiser of the 2 tailbacks, is stacked up. Dana Holgorsen says, look, don't call us high octane, don't call us air raid, even though that's kind of the tree we're on. He does like to dedicate to the run game, and said at points in his tenure, they've almost been too obsessed with the run. Howard off play action. It's a high ball, and it's caught by White. One of the 3 brothers White to come through West Virginia. It goes for a first down in the arms of Hadley.
Karan White climbs the ladder and snatches this ball at the high point. That was tremendous. It was on target to be airmailed, and White comes down with it.
Shell on first down, running behind Wellman for a couple yards.
You know, Jason, it's really a misnomer about the spread teams. It's not really spread it to run it or spread it to throw it. It's a spread it to count the numbers and do whatever the defense allows you to do. And Dana Holgorsen has gotten much better at that lately here in this offense at West Virginia.
What's the change?
I think it's just the mentality and the ability up front. Their offensive line has gotten much better in the run game. They're much better in pass protection, but I've covered him before in the past where he's been really frustrated with not being able to take advantage of favorable run boxes.
2nd down and 7 for Howard. Still yet to be sacked this year. He throws it up and incomplete, out of bounds, looking for Shorts in bracket coverage. 3rd down.
And Howard simply missed White on a skinny post over the middle. White had beat Michael Davis to the post, and for some reason, Howard was looking to the left to begin with. It was a middle open look, and the quarterback, Skyler White, missed Karan Howard.
Play clock ticking down. 3rd and 7, West Virginia. Howard dancing in the pocket. Gets it out for Shell. He changes direction. Shell inside the 5. What a run by Russell Shell. 1st and goal, West Virginia. Tony Dorsett's nephew gets him inside the 5.
Really good pass protection led to this because there was so much time that Skyler Howard could go from the left where he had 1 receiver, ended up going to his trip side and then finally finding his running back Shell outside, and Butch Pa'u lost contain on Shell.
Right back there, Shell puts his head down and in. Touchdown, West Virginia. Second score for Shell.
Well, just when I thought that BYU had some answers defensively, West Virginia gets hot once again. That rhythm that they lost in the prior drive on that pick, the interception that Skyler Howard threw, they found it on this drive, and it was a missed tackle by the same defender for BYU, Butch Pa'u, that gave up that big run by Shell.
Molina on for the extra point. Shell, related to Tony Dorsett, started his career at Pitt. He even played in high school at Hopewell, where the stadium is called Tony Dorsett Stadium. He's out of the shadow of Uncle Tony and into the end zone twice today. West Virginia leads again. That first picture was teenage heartthrob Ty Detmer. He's also the Heisman Trophy winner from 1990. 41 touchdowns this year, nearly 5,200 yards. Now he's the offensive coordinator for BYU, and an offense that has a quarterback that feels a little bit maybe like a square peg in a round hole.
Yeah, I think Taysom Hill was recruited to run a spread hurry-up under Bronco Mendenhall and offensive coordinator Robert Anai, and now they're going kind of back to the future. BYU X's and O's again, Lavelle Edwards and Norm Chow, and that's what Ty Detmer is in charge of, making that transition with a quarterback that may be better at doing other things.
And that's a troubling kickoff for West Virginia. Taysom Hill over the middle, quick hitter, just short of the 50-yard line. Jamal Williams out of the backfield, a young man who missed the entire season last year for personal reasons and has played well in his return.
And Jamal Williams, Jason, is a running back that, and a lot of the good ones work this way, they need touches to get a feel for the game. And that's what Ty Detmer said about last week, is he felt they abandoned the run game a little early, and Williams never did really feel it.
Some rough plays for Arndt 2 weeks ago before the bye. West Virginia didn't have its best defense out there for Youngstown State as they rush Hill again. It is intercepted. Picked off by West Virginia's Rasul Douglas, and he is gone.
Jason, we've been talking about Taysom Hill making such good decisions today, but he's going to end up sliding up in the pocket and throwing lazy and out wide, and those things typically don't work very well. And Rasul Douglas makes him pay, but that was not a good decision when you're moving up. And if you throw it to the sideline, you need to make sure that there's no traffic, and Taysom Hill pays for a bad decision right there.
Second career interception for Rasul Douglas, and the extra point is good. West Virginia flips it on BYU with a pick six for the Mountaineers, 21-10.
Well, when West Virginia can get points from their defense, in addition to with the rhythm that their offense has played in at times today, this may be a Big 12 team that has something to say before this season ends.
West Virginia off only its third takeaway of the year. Scores point number 21. Aleva Hifo from the goal line. Hifo, a big return. Aleva Hifo, the freshman, into West Virginia territory. Taysom Hill spearheads the offense. Jamal Williams goes spinning inside the 40-yard line. It's a first down for BYU, and a strong response off the longest kickoff return of the year for the Cougars.
And if Ty Detmer is true to what he learned last week, he's going to stick with the run game. Obviously, this is the first half, and that's the run game is who they want to be. So Jamal Williams has had some look. It's the one egregious mistake by Taysom Hill that has really changed the momentum in his game.
Williams again just short of the 30-yard line. How about that pick six, Cal?
Well, it was really the first bad decision I've seen out of Taysom Hill. He does a great job of sliding up in the pocket away from pressure. But what you can't do is decide in the spur of the moment to not only throw it wide, but throw it lazily out in the flat. And Rasul Douglas makes him pay. That was not the thing to do right there for your football team.
Quick set, Juergens on the catch. Mitchell Juergens, who caught the touchdown earlier, has a first down just outside of the 25-yard line.
But the game of football is a game of answers, Jason. We know that, and BYU needs to answer right here. We got the football back, and Taysom Hill has to get over that pick six he threw and go down and get points for his team right here.
Taysom Hill takes it straight up the gut, and that's some of the stuff we've not seen under Ty Detmer, the design runs. 2 timeouts remaining for the Cougars, now down to 1 with that one.
Yeah, good use of the timeout. They had 2 of them, and the rule of thumb is when you get under a minute, burn one of them, and that's what BYU did. But
67 yards for Taysom Hill. BYU down 11. A field goal certainly would help. Would love the end zone if you're the Cougars. Is that Taysom Hill to the sideline, room to roam for Juergens, and Mitchell Juergens inside the 10. Got to get to the line and spike this thing. Clock ticking down for Hill in the offense. Taysom Hill under center to spike it down.
You can't spike the ball, Jason, with less than 3 seconds left. This half is going to be over with.
And that's exactly what the signal from Matt Austin is. Watch the clock moving down. It's at 1 when the snap comes, and the ball does hit the ground very close to zeros. Kick time for Red Almond, 25 yards away, and it is good. BYU gets the ball out of halftime and trails by 8. Taysom Hill, we talked about Taysom Hill having things go haywire around him. It happened again on that final drive. BYU escapes with 3 and carts with Dana Holgorsen.
Coach, I saw you addressing the officials after that. What did you have to say?
Well, I thought there was 0 time on the clock. I think everybody else thought it too. But, you know, nonetheless, it's a good job by our defense of, you know, not letting them into the end zone.
Jamal Williams, their running back, 123 yards in that first half. What's been the biggest challenge stopping him?
Well, he's big, you know, and their offensive line is big. I mean, you know, he's been doing that for 4 years now. I mean, he's close to their all-time leading rusher. We got to do a better job against the run. We have done in the past, and we need to do a better job now.
What do you need out of your D-line?
Yeah, they got to fill gaps. They got to get to the quarterback, and they got to fill gaps in the run game.
Thank you, Coach.
You got it.
Dana Holgorsen and Paul Carcaterra, 21-13, your halftime score. Chris Cotter, Jonathan Vilma, the Dave & Buster's halftime report. In the shadow of Capitol Hill, Landover, Maryland is our site, where West Virginia leads 21-13 at the half. And BYU's last 3 points were in question. Final play of the first half was a field goal. The second to last play was a pass to Juergens from Hill. And so Juergens has some difficulty getting out of bounds. 12 seconds on the clock. He decides to go back inbounds. The clock continues to run and move, and all the way down to 1 second, leading to a spike for BYU. We had some discussion in the booth over whether or not that was a legal play. Eventually, there's the spike, and Hill gets the field goal for Almond, 21-13. And as we talked to National Officiating Coordinator Rogers Redding, Jason Benetti, Kelly Stauffer, we talked to him, and he said, look, the officials got it right. The rule having to do with 3 seconds on the clock only applies to circumstances in which the play was stopped with the clock. The official then starts the play back up. So because the clock was running, they had a reasonable expectation to spike at any point.
Yeah, as long as the clock is running and you have time to spike it, you can do that. Exactly right. The 3 second or more rule has to do when the clock is stopped. And so there wasn't a first down on that play. And so the official had no reason to stop it. It's up to BYU to stop it however they can, and they killed it with maybe a little less than 1 second left.
And if you're saying that doesn't sound equitable, right? That doesn't sound fair. Why would the offense get a break when the clock's running and they should be scrambling? The idea is the offense already has a first down and has a chance to take a break.
That's the difference.
The equity there for the defense is the offense then isn't allowed to spike the ball. That's the purpose of the rule, only applying to situations in which the clock was stopped after a first down.
Great use of replay and a great job by officials doing the right thing on the field.
21-13 your score. BYU will return it to the 25 and then some. And that's a nice return for Matt Hadley all the way across the 40-yard line. And kind of a dormant special teams for BYU return-wise has livened up today. They had a 50-yard return earlier. This one goes for 40 and starts the offense just short of midfield with Williams downstairs to Carnes.
Well, Jason, moments ago, I spoke with Kalani Sitake, the head coach at BYU. He loves his run game. What's not to love about Jamal Williams in that first half? 123 yards on the ground. He plans on pounding that rock relentlessly in this second half. Defensively, though, he's concerned with their inability to line up in time with West Virginia, who's going really fast tempo. Also, expect safety help on the outside with those speed guys from West Virginia when BYU's on D.
Well, West Virginia got a lot of whatever it wanted from the speed guys, especially over the middle in that first half.
Yeah, and that's going to be a tough matchup all day, but you have to help those guys as best you can. And I think if you start bringing safeties down, if you're BYU, you're asking for trouble. What BYU needs to do defensively, quite frankly, in that first half is tackle better. They missed a couple of tackles, and it gave West Virginia some plays, but you also have to run it effectively like BYU is on this drive to begin the second half.
Over 2,000 miles from home in Provo, Utah to Landover, Maryland. 3rd down and 3 for Taysom Hill, who throws a low ball and makes contact with Juergens. Mitchell Juergens, who did not get out of bounds on that second to last play in half number 1, gets a first down here.
BYU will live with this type of offense the rest of the season. 2 quality runs to get in 3rd and manageable, and then really you can run it for a first, or you can throw it like Taysom Hill just did to Juergens to convert and move the chains. It's called a mix down, and you want to be in a mix down, pass or run on 3rd down to convert.
A couple of long drives in the first half for BYU. Taysom Hill steps up and has a lot of green. Hill on the run across the 35 and a first down for Taysom Hill, wrapped up by Arndt. It's a gain of 12, and that's what Taysom Hill brings you.
A raw skill set pocket passer needs to learn to use his legs when he needs them, and this is a great time to run the football. You don't want Taysom Hill getting out prematurely. You want him getting out on time, and that's a good look at it.
Squally Canada, the backup running back, has checked in. Sophomore transfer out of Washington State.
And ball security for number 22.
Came into the Las Vegas Bowl last year, fumbled, didn't play again, and down goes Taysom Hill, sacked by Noble Nwachukwu, the redshirt senior, his first sack of the year.
And in this 3-3-5 alignment from West Virginia, Nwachukwu is that built-in pressure guy. He comes up inside, and that's another indication that in pass protection that BYU still drops assignments a little bit when they have to communicate and trade things off, and that was a good example of them not doing it effectively.
Squally Canada remains in, and the transfer gets a couple yards into Nwachukwu again. Squally Canada, whose name is actually Bryant, but his father called him Boo Squally because he used to stare at a tree that wavered back and forth in their backyard. And sadly or not, it stuck as his first name.
Well, sadly or not, that sounds like a kind of a sad story to me. I mean, you have nothing better to do as a small child but to stare at foliage. I don't understand that.
3rd down and 11 for BYU. 6 for 9 on 3rd down today. Hill on the run. Hill with loads of room. Taysom Hill hurtling inside the 10-yard line. Oh, that was shades of years ago. There are Longhorn fans having nightmares.
Ty Detmer told us that they challenged Taysom Hill this week. We need more out of you, and you need to demand more out of those around you. A gifted athlete learning to be a pocket passer, but he hasn't forgot the dynamic element in running the football.
That's a 27-yard run for Taysom Hill to set up the run game in Williams. And Williams is in. Touchdown, BYU. Is it too early to go for two for a coach who went for two to try to get a win late a couple of weeks ago against Utah?
I would say yes, but I can see Taysom Hill coming back onto the field already. I don't like chasing points this early in the game. There's a lot of football to be played.
What a run by Williams.
What a run by Taysom Hill to set up Williams.
Two-point conversion for the tie for BYU.
Typically, you would see Hill sprint out into the side to the right, that he has three wide receivers.
Hill to throw. End zone. It is tipped around. And Kurtz and Douglas fighting for it. It's incomplete.
Well, the attempt was pretty straightforward. Kurtz is at 6'6", 215 pounds. And then Douglas is a 6'2" corner, but Jason, throw the ball up to your 6'6" guy and let him go make a play.
This guy can do it. Taysom Hill at 26 brings his team to the end zone, but Nick Kurtz couldn't haul in two, so BYU's trailing by a pair. So West Virginia gets it back with the lead. First touch of the second half for the Mountaineers and Shelton Gibson. The big play wide receiver with flags littering the field. He's inside his own 10. Skyler Howard had a magnificent first half with one blip on the radar. And the run game breaks free across the 10. Russell Shell with a strong run just short of the 15-yard line, tackled by Logan Ta'ele.
West Virginia, we talked about in the first half, wants to go fast, but you have to put some quality plays together before you can do that.
Shell again on 2nd and 1. Threads it through to the 18-yard line. First down for the Mountaineers. This West Virginia team, that opening drive was machine-like for West Virginia. Skyler Howard was perfect on that drive. He did throw one interception in the first half. Your assessment of his first half?
I think the first half was good outside of that mistake, but I think he was a little out of rhythm. That first drive that looked like a picture-perfect drive was a good mix of run and pass. And
Howard over the middle, and White is absolutely blasted, but he keeps his feet. What a play by White as Butch Pa'u met him first and couldn't get him down.
White was running a crossing route against the zone coverage, and if the receiver and the quarterback aren't on the same page and the receiver carries you into the next window, in this case Butch Pa'u was there to blow him up. White did a great job of hanging on to that football.
Brother of Kevin White, who's now in the NFL, former first-round pick of the Bears a couple of years ago. Howard to throw again. Gets it out to Crawford, who put it on the deck. Incomplete. 3rd and 4 coming up. And here's the hit by Pa'u on White.
White hangs on, but Pa'u diagnoses the crossing route, and then White got his head around just in time, or that would have been a decleater. Pa'u brings the lumber. White did a great job of securing that football.
Crawford stays in after the drop. West Virginia leading by 2 as a 3rd down. 3 rush for BYU. Howard flips it out into the flat and has Crawford for a first down and then some across the 40-yard line. Fred Warner took him down way upfield, and Crawford atones for the drop.
Miscommunication defensively for BYU. Completely dropped Crawford.
Taysom Hill, by the way, has run off the field, the BYU starting quarterback. West Virginia has the ball right now. Kark is working on it, and we will let you know when we hear about Hill. Down the sideline, long ball for Howard, and he has Shelton Gibson all the way inside the 10-yard line. Second in the nation in yards per catch. Last year, hits for 51.
Shelton Gibson is the vertical big play guy, matched up on a true freshman, Chris Wilcox. That's a mismatch experience-wise and speed-wise.
Shell darting inside to the 5. Longy the tackle. It's second down and goal. And we said the speed for West Virginia could be an issue for BYU.
And BYU, I thought, did a really nice job of kind of catching up to that speed and quickness as this first half went on into the second half. But that time, it was just a track meet. Gibson vertical on Wilcox, and the fourth-year junior beat the true freshman.
Second down goal. Howard on the run this time, and he is belted down at the 4-yard line by Kesni Tausinga and Butch Pau'u, that sophomore linebacker who had a pick earlier.
Yeah, go in there at your own discretion, and it was the prototypical get down inside the 10, spread it out, and then you have a quarterback that can be effective with the draw, but you're going in there to man's country. BYU will put the wood to you.
They've got Durant, White, and Shorts all at the top of the formation. 3 dangerous receivers. Gibson down at the bottom. Howard under pressure, finds space. Skyler Howard scores! Touchdown, West Virginia!
Jason, you talked about it. West Virginia had trips to the right side. Their running back went to the right side, and quarterback scrambles are most effective when the quarterback has already gone through his progression. And that's exactly what happened. Get out to the left on time, and there was man-to-man. Everybody was in the end zone, and then it was a foot race to the corner of the end zone.
Skyler Howard really raised his game at the end of last season with that 5-touchdown Cactus Bowl. West Virginia's offense under his leadership has scored on both BYU turnovers today, and Molina tacks on the extra point to make it a 2-score game. Skyler Howard finds Shelton Gibson for 51 yards down the sideline. Then Howard does it all by his lonesome, and the Mountaineers lead by 9.
Welcome back to Washington. West Virginia up 28-19. You see this last touchdown. Middle linebacker Butch Pau'u could not run at full strength. The possession before, when we saw him lay a huge hit, actually rattled him, and when he came off the field, he missed 5 defensive snaps. I saw him running gingerly and not at full strength. You see the change of direction not there for the middle linebacker. He's the heart and soul of this defense. When he's at full strength, he changes direction way better than that.
Yeah, and what he did, Kark, is I think because of that injury, not feeling 100%, he actually left his feet. Typically, you would see him stay on the ground and make a play right there.
Chip shot kick, returnable for BYU down to the 40-yard line. From the 39, Taysom Hill is back out after leaving between series. He strikes to Colby Pearson into plus territory, and it's a first down for BYU.
The BYU just has to go back to the things that have worked for them. I mean, this is a kind of a nip and tuck game outside of the turnovers for BYU. Take care of the football, and then it's just back to business. Physical downhill, and then Taysom Hill going through his progression and throwing the ball really well this afternoon.
On the decision, Hill to the outside, and downstairs Kark.
See Taysom Hill right there. Saw him running in and out of the locker room between those series. Just spoke to one of the staff members of BYU. Stomach got the wind knocked out of him. He looked okay when he ran out and ran back onto the field. But watch him, though. Stomach could be an issue.
Well, Taysom Hill today, thank you card, 13 out of 19 for 106 at a school that's well known for its quarterbacks. Guys like Ty Detmer, Steve Young, more recently Max Hall had a fantastic career, and Taysom Hill highly thought of in BYU circles. Williams is stopped short of the 40-yard line. 3 yellow jerseys got there, and it's third down for BYU.
Jason, a little cat and mouse game going on. Taysom Hill came to the line of scrimmage. 2 high safeties, so he checked run. It's a run look, and West Virginia corresponded with their own check defensively, and the safeties came down, and the safeties ended up blowing up that play.
What does Tony Gibson, the defensive coordinator, dial up here 3rd and 7?
You have to get pressure on Taysom Hill, but stay disciplined in your rush lanes.
They only brought 3. He goes back, shoulder to the sideline, and incomplete. Fleming covering Moroni Laulu-Pututau, his first target today, and it's 4th down. He was the leading receiver coming in, hasn't been seen.
Laulu-Pututau actually runs a nice route. It's designed to be a back shoulder throw, and that should have been pass interference on Fleming. I mean, he was raking at the face mask of the receiver, and that simply isn't allowed. Didn't change the direction of the receiver much, but that should have been a flag on number 24, Maurice Fleming.
BYU will punt on 4th and 7 from West Virginia territory. And the former rugby player Johnny Linehan tried to sneak it and did, out of bounds inside the 2-yard line. Howard from the 2. Howard to throw, tipped ball, and incomplete.
Corbin,
looked like, yeah, Corbin Kofusi, yep.
That's exactly what we were told his role would be. 6'9", 270, and it was about getting in the throwing lane of a 5'10" quarterback, even though he's listed at 6 feet.
West Virginia goes with Crawford, and Justin Crawford breaking tackles across the 10 for a first down. That is a big play for the Mountaineers, up by a couple of scores, as Crawford gets banged down and pinballed by Fred Warner on what may be, depending on West Virginia's choice, the final play of the 3rd quarter.
That was a huge run by Shell, because the minimum requirement for an offense in a backed up situation is at least 1 first down, create some room for your punter. It's not too late for BYU to do something here defensively, however.
15 minutes left. West Virginia not far from home in Morgantown, one of 2 remaining unbeatens in the Big 12. Mountaineers have capitalized off turnovers, trying to hang on to a win here in Landover. Last drive, big play man was Shelton Gibson.
And it's all about formational design. How do we get Gibson on a true freshman? 4 wides, the 2 inside guys down below are going to head across the middle of the field. And what is the quarterback, Skyler Howard, left with? A vertical guy, my best vertical guy on Chris Wilcox, a true freshman that was trying to find a prom date about 4 months ago. I like my chances in that scenario.
Yeah, West Virginia's willing to dance deep. We've seen that as Skyler Howard came in as the reigning 2nd place man in the Big 12 in yards per completion from last season. He's got a 2nd down and 10, and it's a delay to Crawford, who gave them some space earlier and crosses the 15. It's 3rd down for the Mountaineers, who preach balance in decision making, balance in formations. Where do they go here on 3rd down?
I think it's going to be a situation of spreading it out and working the inside of the field.
Takeel Shorts is normally that guy. Pitch it out to White, and the brother of Kevin White, Karan White, is across the 35 for a first down.
And a good decision by the quarterback, Skyler Howard. You talked about it. Shorts was inside of White. The defender came down and jumped on Shorts, and White was left open on first down yardage, and the ball came out on time and on target. That's what creates run after the catch for a wide receiver.
Coaching staff for West Virginia preached how competitive the White family is. Defensive coordinator Tony Gibson said when he was out recruiting, he would like shoot pool or play beanbags with the dad, and he wouldn't let the dad win. He wanted to beat him. Talks a little smack. On the ground, Crawford. Hesitation across the 45. Crawford with a dandy of a run. The JUCO transfer has had a very nice day today. Mention the White brothers. Kevin White, the older one. Karan White as well, along with Kaiser White, who's transferred in. There are 7 kids along with Kevin White. There's a sister as well who somehow is going to Auburn to play basketball.
How did that happen?
The one that got away in Morgantown. Run it again. Crawford hit and keeps his feet after a couple of yards.
2 good plays back-to-back by Crawford. Actually, 2 plays. The first one was good. You see that elusiveness that Dana Holgerson likes that Justin Crawford brings to the equation. You don't have to block them all when 25 has the ball, but that play, you see the downside of having speed. Sometimes you bounce it prematurely before pressing the line of scrimmage, and that time there was nobody outside.
11 touches for Crawford, over 100 total yards. Pitch it out quickly, and Skyler Howard once again with a quick hit to the back, and it's Kennedy McCoy, the freshman, for a first down. Thank you, Chris. Kennedy McCoy again in space, and he lays the wood. Oh my goodness, did McCoy put the hurt on BYU's Austin McChesney.
This is how you earn your stripes as a freshman running back. Hits the ball on the outlet by Skyler Howard, and then drop the wood on McChesney. Don't run out of bounds when you're a freshman.
McChesney, who has a targeting penalty to his detriment on his resume this year. He missed the first half of the UCLA game, and he hits the sideline. Shell and McCoy are in together. Howard, fake to the back, rolls this way. Howard back into play, and that is an ill-advised throw on what's been a low-risk drive.
Every once in a while from Skyler Howard, that particular decision rears its ugly head. Very well defended on the back end by BYU. You're outside the pocket. All out of bounds past the line of scrimmage and live to play one more down.
Still 79% Skyler Howard today. His best completion percentage year of his career so far. Big third down. Howard down the middle. He's got a man. Shelton Gibson with a flag down inside the 10-yard line. Dion Lake dragged him down before the end zone. We'll see what the marker is. Well, no flag on the play now. It's 1st and goal from the 9. May have been a bright yellow shoe that came off.
I think it was. I think it might have been Gibson's shoe. He blew a tire, but he certainly ran a nice route before that.
1st and goal. Howard play fake. On the roll, wide open. Touchdown to Keel Shorts, and West Virginia trying to run away. BYU calls defense its specialty, and rightfully so. It's kept them in 3 games to start the season. But West Virginia, with an electric offense, just went 99 yards to put up point number 35. the big play man, Shelton Gibson, who may need some more footwear, but got him in position. And then Skyler Howard throws the touchdown, and West Virginia is up big. BYU a hopeful to join the Big 12, but who isn't? 11 teams are on the list. Should be a decision October 17th, or at least that's the idea that's been announced. BYU at least somewhat auditioning in front of West Virginia as Braden El-Bakri has the return. Taysom Hill to the outside, cutting it back in and just short of midfield. It's a first down run for Taysom Hill that goes for 16, tackled by one of those 7 white kids, Kaiser White. Mentioned BYU and the expansion possibilities. Bronco Mendenhall, before he left for Virginia, said independence isn't sustainable for BYU in the long term. That's not the feeling we got from Kalani Sitake talking to him yesterday as Jurgens makes the catch.
Well, I think that needs to be qualified with sustainable as far as being a player in the college football playoffs. Basically, this team has to go undefeated every year, and that I don't think is doable, let alone sustainable.
Taysom Hill tiptoes out of bounds. The one thing Kalani Sitake did say is, look, we have a schedule where our guys get to play some of the best teams in college football, and I like that for my guys. That's the value of independence for BYU.
Yeah, I think the way they started the year, I think, is a great example of that. But you're right, there is no room for error in that type of scheduling as an independent. I thought we were going to see what the committee would do with the quality independent last year, but then Notre Dame lost late to Stanford, so that went out the window.
Taysom Hill, quick hit to Nick Kurtz and a first down. He's tackled by Fleming. Inside the 40-yard line, first down BYU. And there's the map of the teams in the Big 12. 10 teams currently, and it's all over the map of the teams that are looking to get in.
I mean, you just throw your name into the ring right there. They all scattered all over the place.
No guarantee the Big 12 will expand. Still pending. Taysom Hill on the run has decided to tuck it a bunch on this drive. And he meanders to the 31. Adam Schuler and Darian Howard collaborated. Second down BYU. As Adam Schuler walked off under his own power, they're looking at his wrist. As Taysom Hill tries to take BYU in. Hill to throw, wants the sideline. A lot of contact and a flag. It's incomplete for Kurtz, and he drew the marker. It was Rasul Douglas who had the interception earlier on the coverage.
We've seen Kurtz on Douglas before.
Defense number 13, 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
And rightfully so, he's the tallest cornerback they have.
And he's also the most physical, and he got a little bit too physical on this play. He is actually holding with that right hand, had a handful of jersey, but this was a tremendous catch in the end, was it not? He was out of bounds, but what a great effort by Kurtz.
Penalty puts BYU inside the red zone. Under 10 to play. Hill lofts it. End zone incomplete. Moroni Laulu Pututau had a step on Kaiser White. Too much air under it.
Laulu Pututau runs kind of a double move up the middle. And actually, like you said, had a step on White. That's a good matchup if I'm BYU. But just a little bit too far by Taysom Hill. That's really difficult to complete because a lot of times you have to throw it when there's still a little contact between defensive back and receiver, and that's what happened right there.
After a little work on Schuler's shoulder, he is back in for second down and 10. Hill surveys and wings it low inside the 5. Colby Pearson with a diving grab. First and goal BYU on a gain of 14.
Too much room. It was corners coverage on the back end, and the safety and the underneath coverage White didn't communicate.
Williams, touchdown. And now BYU has to go for 2 after chasing the points earlier.
Don't chase points early. You need to write that down, and every week you show me what I've said. Don't chase points early. It would be much better to be able to kick an extra point right here and then score a touchdown and go for 2 when the game's on the line. Don't chase points early. Repeat it.
Don't chase points early. Got it.
Rarely do I see it work.
Ty Detmer's got a call to play. 9:19 to go. Williams, the tailback. On the toss and the reverse. Jurgens wants to throw it. Oh my goodness. Wachuku was there for it. Taysom Hill had to tackle him. And if that doesn't tell you how that play went, I don't know what does.
You know the irony in this? Jamal Williams on the initial toss scores a touchdown if he just hangs on the ball. Sometimes as coaches, you make it a little bit too difficult. This play fooled absolutely nobody.
10-point game, and BYU will kick it deep. From the 5-yard line, Shelton Gibson, who's had a big day. Gibson finds a seam. Gibson keeps his feet, and Shelton Gibson just outside the 40-yard line. Back and forth they go in a couple places along the college football.
11 years, right?
Yeah, been a long
for the
time.
last bunch.
From the 40-yard line, Skyler Howard. See if West Virginia tries to protect the clock. It's not really in their DNA as Shell gets a couple of yards. Well, credit to this West Virginia offensive line today as well against a tough BYU front. They've swapped around the tackles. Adam Pankey started for Colton McKivitz, who's moved to the right side at points. They're without Yadni Kajust, who's got a torn ACL after week number 1. The line has held up remarkably well, having not allowed a sack coming in. Crawford in motion, quick hit, and Howard didn't even look that way. It was a forward pass downstairs for Cart.
Jason, when I spoke to Skyler Howard this week, he praised the offensive line. Last year, they allowed 32 sacks after the first 2 games, 0. He said it's a big factor in his completion percentage. His ability to get that extra second has made all the difference in the world, and he credits the big guys up front.
Just 1 sack today against Howard, 1 for the season. It's 3rd and 7 as Crawford splits out wide.
Yeah, Clark, I know a lot of quarterbacks that are much better when they get good protection. It's amazing how that works.
It's a list of all the quarterbacks.
Yeah, like everyone that's ever played the game.
3rd down. Howard out of the backfield. Shell. Flag comes in. Shell is short. If the flag is against West Virginia, it will be punt time. And boy, the Mountaineers needed to take some more time off the clock, don't you think?
Yeah, that 2nd down play was almost a disaster. It was the swing screen.
Holding, offense number 70. The penalties decline. Play results in 4th down.
The left guard, Mateo.
A swing screen out of the backfield. And it was almost a backward pass to begin with. But at best, it was an incomplete pass. Stop the clock. And yes, now you're punting the ball back to a BYU team that is regretting chasing points early in this game, being down by 10 and about to possess it again.
Less than a minute off the clock as Kinney boots it away, and it's a short kick outside the 20-yard line. BYU has under 8 to go. Taysom Hill to Hefo, the freshman, and he turns the corner across the 30.
That last drive by West Virginia was a head scratcher, and it was a disastrous clock-killing drive. We need to keep our eye on that and harken back to that disastrous drive.
Officially a $1:13 on that drive as Hill slides down at the 35. Now BYU, which has run the ball very well today, needs to maybe put some hustle in the step, don't you think?
Yeah, definitely. They have 3 timeouts left, but they do need to move with a purpose right here.
Kalani Sitake, the head coach, told us his favorite book is War and Peace. They don't have time for War and Peace right now. They need the digest. Down the middle, incomplete. This is 3rd down coming up as he missed Kurtz by about 8 yards.
West Virginia was getting after Taysom Hill. BYU's offensive line and also Jamal Williams protected really well. Kurtz was one-on-one with the safety, ran kind of a double move, and the ball just was not close.
Wachuku came hard to set up a 3rd down and 6. Hill has got it. Colby Pearson with a wonderful catch in traffic, head over heels against Sharif.
A dig route. Pearson is coming inside, and a laser. That's where you see the true arm talent by Taysom Hill. It's not about his arm, it's about his eyes and his feet, and they've been much better today as well.
From midfield, Taysom Hill stepping up, looking for Hefo. He overthrew him. Hefo had a surefire touchdown.
The true freshman, who is really their big play guy they're trying to get in the mix a little more, is on Sharif outside, and you're right. I think Hill could have waited a little bit longer with good protection, let the vertical clear up a little bit, and then drop it in the shirt pocket. Big missed opportunity.
2nd down, Williams up the middle. Williams, a strong run, bowling across the 40, and a 1st down. That play to Hefo was very similar to one they missed on 4th down on their opening drive last week.
You're exactly right, and I think when you have the protection as a quarterback, give your receiver a little bit more time to provide some clarity for you.
Hill, zip on it. Great catch by Kurtz. What hands by Nick Kurtz to the 19-yard line. 1st down, BYU.
Kurtz is not a quick twitch type of guy that's going to run away from people a lot, but he's 6'6" with long arms, and he needed all of it right there on that play. Great catch by Kurtz.
Squally Canada is hit in the backfield. Nana Kairum got a piece of him before he got to the line of scrimmage, and no gain. Second down and long, give him a yard. Taysom Hill, pressure coming down the middle. Hill's got a touchdown. Moroni Laulu Pututau, and BYU is an extra point away from being down 3.
Ulu Pututau is matched up, basically running a skinny post route on the safety, Jeremy Tyler. Quarters coverage, Jason, turns into straight man-to-man about 90% of the time because of the way that they read routes, and Ulu Pututau won that matchup.
Extra point is good. 121 seconds, 79 yards. Taysom Hill with the score. BYU within 3. Here, West Virginia a 3-point lead after a short drive by the Mountaineers that zeroed out. BYU a quick drive for a touchdown. And now the Cougars are within 3. Gibson from the 7. Shelton Gibson chooses the outside lane. Gibson down the sideline. And a burst across the 35, setting up West Virginia with good field position. From the 37, Shell in the backfield. Howard tucks it and picks up 4 on 1st down. Kai Nakua knocked him down. 2nd down, West Virginia.
And that's a great example of not abandoning the run, but being a little more creative with the run. We haven't seen many designed quarterback runs. Skyler Howard has run the ball, but mostly it's been after scrambling around a little bit on design play or pass calls. That time it was just design quarterback reading. He made a good choice.
You're pretty sure you're going to get yards with Howard, who through 2 games coming into today had not lost a yard on a run this year. 2nd down for Howard. Shell out of the backfield, and the nephew of Tony Dorsett is out of bounds at the 42 with Bernard on his hip. 3rd down, 5:04 to play.
And I think Shell right there was being told to stay in bounds, and he gave kind of a shrug of the shoulders, but I would like my guy that just caught a swing out of the backfield to try to convert and get a first down right there. Sometimes you end up getting knocked out of bounds.
West Virginia, 3rd down and 4. 4.5 to go. Leading by 3. Howard to throw. Quick set, dropped. Karan White couldn't bring it in. It's 4th down.
Karan White was outside, matched up on the true freshman Chris Wilcox, who got beat by Gibson earlier on the vertical. So this time Wilcox bails out of there. A lot of cushioning. White just has to simply finish and look it into his hands.
Karan White, who this week said the BYU corners, I don't think they can outrun us, drops a ball on a comeback route.
Uh-oh.
And BYU will get it after a 2nd straight drive that bogged down for West Virginia. It's Cougar ball inside the 15-yard line, trailing by 3. Kalani Sitake decided to stick with Taysom Hill, who's got it in his hands and throws it too high and intercepted. Picked off by Jeremy Tyler. West Virginia gets it back. 3rd takeaway for the Mountaineers, and it comes at a huge time.
He's exactly the right guy to go to. Mitchell Juergens was coming in on a dig route deep and late over the middle, finding the void, and the ball just gets away from Taysom Hill just a little bit. His feet were good. He spun it well. Sometimes it was just a little high, and you hope that your receiver can bail you out and climb and get it, and Juergens couldn't quite do it on that play.
West Virginia with that 3rd takeaway after 31 of them, tied for 5th most in the country last year. Jet sweep for Shorts. Takeel Shorts spun around and he loses yards. BYU 3 timeouts. When do you use them?
You probably start about right now, after probably this play, as it ticks down to, yeah.
Jeremy Tyler's interception has West Virginia on the ball with a 3-point lead, and Tyler wasn't even supposed to be the starter. Drayvon Askew-Henry was the heart of the defense. He went out with an injury in the preseason, a left knee injury. So Tyler takes that spot and has a gargantuan play in this game. 2nd down 11 out of the BYU timeout for West Virginia. Crawford on the run. Crawford breaking tackles. Crawford inside the 10 and inside the 5.
You don't have to block them all when Justin Crawford carries the football. That's what head coach Dana Holgorsen told us. And every offense needs a little shimmy and a little shake, and Shell doesn't provide that from the running back position. He's patient and he's efficient, but he's not as explosive and dynamic as Crawford is.
Now BYU's caught. 2 timeouts remaining. And the snap comes. Howard wasn't ready for it. Shades of Auburn. And it's BYU football. Francis Bernard, the recovery.
Well, the center, Tyler Orlowski, can't figure out what was going on. And it looked to me like Skyler Howard was coming back toward the line of scrimmage, not done calling the play. And his veteran 5th-year center got confused on what he heard.
And Orlowski is not happy. BYU has 2:36 to go. Hill launches to the 35. Nick Kurtz. Loads of time left for BYU. Trailing by 3, 2 timeouts remaining. Taysom Hill, quick pass. Laulu Pututau is undercut at the 34 by Fleming. 2nd down. Under 2 minutes to play. Taysom Hill, the senior who came back for one more year. On the run. Hill across the 40 gets drilled. He gave himself up. No flag coming in.
That would have been a good time for Taysom Hill to just lower his shoulder and try to convert. Mainly, not only to get another roll of the dice, but also to stop the clock for the first down conversion.
2 timeouts still on the board. Taysom Hill, 3rd down. Hill scanning, surveying, throws on the run, a long pass to Kurtz into West Virginia territory.
A fantastic route adjustment by Kurtz, matched up on Douglas outside. This play was dead to begin with, was Kurtz's route, but as your quarterback starts to scramble, if you're a deep receiver, come back down the sideline and give him a shot.
Taysom Hill to run it this time. He's across the 30. Remember, BYU is using its original kicker for this year who was benched. Jake Oldroyd is out with an injury today. Rhett Almond is the kicker this evening as BYU will use a timeout, 1 remaining for the Cougars. How do you handle this if you're Ty Detmer then with 1:09 to play and you're at least in chancy field goal range?
I think the yardage right now is all about making Rhett Almond much more comfortable. His range maybe in the, especially under these conditions, you would like it to be inside of 40 at least.
2nd down 2. Taysom Hill. A lot of time. Looking for Hefo on the adjustment. And it's picked off by Fleming. Fleming hung on. West Virginia, the interception with 1 minute to go.
Well, Jason, what you didn't need is that. I think West Virginia defensively really baited Taysom Hill to take a shot that he simply did not need to take. You need, realistically, maybe 7 to 10 more yards for Rhett Almond to be comfortable. Man-to-man coverage, it created one-on-ones, but that doesn't mean your one-on-ones win all the time. And Taysom Hill made a bad decision right there.
He had 4 interceptions coming into the game. That's a big one as West Virginia runs it up the middle.
And it's a matter of coverage, and some other time in a game you might take this shot, but not as you're trying to get into field goal range.
And I'll tell you what, the heartbeat slowing down finally for Tyler Orlowski, the center. Nobody would have felt worse than he if this went south for the Mountaineers. Run it again. 3rd down coming up. The redshirt senior, Maurice Fleming, the nickelback, with the interception for West Virginia, a defense that took a tongue lashing from its coordinator, Tony Gibson, after a win 2 weeks ago, has held the line today in Landover, Maryland. And that is the final play from FedEx Field. Big 12 still has 2 remaining unbeatens.
And I think BYU is a quality team. I think their first 3 games, one of those teams in the Pac-12 is probably going to win the Pac-12 South. So I think this is a very quality win over a tough opponent for West Virginia.
35-32 your final score. Next on ESPN2. To Toronto, it's Russia against the host nation Canada. Semifinals of World Cup of Hockey. Steve Levy, Barry Melrose. Thanks for watching. So long from FedEx Field, West Virginia, 35-32.